Wordly Wise 3000 is familiar to many homeschooling families. It's available for grades kinder to 12. It's a secular program. It's standard-based, making it great for test prep. It works well for independent learners, and it's affordable. Grades or levels 2 through 12 each consist of a student workbook, a teacher resource book, an answer key, and a test booklet with answers in the back. Grades K and 1 are packaged differently, and I'll explain that in a moment. The student workbook has 20 lessons with 5 review lessons. There's a list of 15 words per lesson with the goal of retention. You, the student, are given a short definition of each word, followed by a sentence for context and a variety of activities to complete. This is part of the direct instruction approach in the program and why you can use just the workbook and answer key. In the activity, students are asked to replace a word or phrase, apply meanings. They'll have a word study involving synonyms, antonyms, suffixes, prefixes, and analogies. And finally, students read a narrative passage and answer some comprehension questions as a follow-up. Generally speaking, you will do 1 lesson per week. With 25 lessons, counting the reviews, you'll have some wiggle room to extend a lesson if needed. Let's take a look at Lesson 5 from the 7th grade student book. There are some pacing options here. You can do a lesson once a week, 3 times a week, or every day. I'm going to show you what a daily schedule would look like. The first thing you'll do is introduce the word list. This lesson has 15 words. Students read and study the definitions. Talk about the part of speech and any word roots or such you may recognize. If you're using the teacher book, there's a Rate Your Knowledge worksheet to complete. If not, you can ask your student to rate the words familiar, somewhat familiar, or unfamiliar. You might even have them make an index card for each word they put a U next to. Your student completes exercises A, B, C, and D. A has a word bank with 15 words. They choose 2 phrases that go together and create a sentence that uses the list word correctly. B has you replacing a phrase with a single word, testing if the student can translate that new vocabulary. Notice the word list is on each page layout, so you don't have to keep flipping back. C is multiple choice, where you choose the best answer to the question, and there can be more than one right answer. D has the student completing an analogy. The skills are getting deeper, can you tell? The next day, they read a passage and answer the comprehension questions. This passage is almost 2 pages long with 15 questions. The fun and fascinating facts are just little nuggets of interest that relate to the list words. On day 4, the last part of the lesson in the student workbook is the vocabulary extension. There's focus on a word from the list. Here we have adequate. You see other forms of the word in sample sentences. A writing prompt asks the student to reply to a question. How many hours of sleep do you feel is adequate for you? Explain your reasoning. The student is synthesizing a reply based on their interaction with the words in the lesson. They have handled the words several times now and should be able to respond fairly easily. This can be the end of your weekly lesson, or on day 5, if you choose to, a test can be administered from the test booklet. You might even test every other lesson or just once a month for the practice. This lesson was only 11 workbook pages long, which is pretty typical in the middle grades. The teacher resource books include teaching guides for the lessons, reproducible test and reviews, pacing options, answer keys to the test and workbook exercises. Vocabulary extensions guide you in differentiating your instruction to a group. Also, there are strategies for using Wordly Wise with your non-native English speakers. Parents can benefit from this as well as a classroom teacher. Tutors working with ESL adults can use these specific helps too. Enrichment ideas for every lesson is a way to stimulate your advanced learners. While many parents opt out of the teacher resource book, it has good content for those with a specific need. It's a pricey item that can often be replaced with an answer key and test booklet. That said, it's loaded with help for the parent with a need. Answer keys include all answers to the student workbook exercises. Since students are often working on vocab independently, this is a time saver for parents. You can use the key to check answers without having to read every single sentence. Students can use them to check their own work as well. Test booklets are pink and not required, though some kids will work a little harder knowing there will be a test. Test answers are in the back of this booklet. Grades K and 1 have a different format. The teacher book is now required, and this is only for kinder and first grade, where you will need the student book and the teacher resource package. The teacher packs include the extensive lesson plans, the concept and the picture cards, read aloud stories and poems, extension and challenge activities, Blackline Masters, formal and informal assessments for each lesson, and assessment checklists, plus a lot more. These lessons generally take 20 to 25 minutes a day. The kinder and first grade books have not changed since the second edition, though the copyright shows 2018. If you're wondering, it's perfectly okay to wait until second grade to start a formal vocabulary program. Wordly Wise 3000 is now in the 4th edition. The 3rd edition is still in print, and while the word list did not change, the components are not interchangeable. There's one more version in print, and that's the original Wordly Wise. It has a very different look. It does not include the narrative passage, and the grade levels are not what you see on the covers. Books A, B, and C are for grades 2, 3, and 4. Wordly Wise 1 is 4th grade. Level 2 is 5th grade, Level 3 is 6th grade, and so on. The lower levels have 8 to 12 words per lesson, while the middle and upper levels have between 12 and 20 words. There are several activities to use the words in a variety of formats, just like the 3000 series, but without the narrative passage for comprehension. Wordly Wise 3000 is an affordable, effective, largely independent supplement to build a student's vocabulary. It's an easy add-on to your language arts instruction. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us. You can call us during the weekday. It's 888-841-3456.